All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Monday, August 7th. Forgot what day it was. August 7th, 2023. Summer is quickly blowing by us. I can't believe we're already into the beginning of August. It's gone fast, guys. All the fun is gone. I hope everyone is doing well. As always, a friendly reminder, like and subscribe. Post a comment in the notes below if you can. It really greases the YouTube algorithm. Today's video du jour, I'm sure you can probably tell by the background, Dragonbane. I got to run it yesterday morning about 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We played for about 3 hours. Just an intro adventure. We played the intro adventure that's in the adventure book. It looks just like this, except it says adventures. And I think it might have a different image. It's in the box there. So I ran it on Foundry with their Foundry rule set. Now, one quick caveat. I didn't see an exclamation or an explanation or information on how to use the card system in Foundry, and I didn't think about it. It just totally slipped my mind. And I know how to run the game. I've ran it twice now, and I've had a blast both times running it. This game has some nuances and quirks in it that if you run a lot of different games, especially if you run 5e games, this I think can kind of trip you up. So have your P's and Q's. I think it would be good to do a little crib sheet or a cheat sheet, and I think there's one in here if I remember correctly. I know it's in Foundry. I did see it in Foundry. First of all, if you play on VTTs and you're a Roll20 or a Foundry guy, I don't know about the Roll20 version or if it's even out, but I know the backers who backed Dragonbone at the box level with the cloth map, you had the option, or you got the Foundry data set as well. And I got it, I loaded it. I had some issues loading it. I had to load it via the manifest URL instead of the package that's on the Bazaar website through Foundry. It just didn't work. Through Forge, I'm sorry, not Foundry, Forge. I run my games through the Forge so that most people don't have a problem connecting. And as far as that goes, we had no problems. I highly recommend the Forge. I've had good luck with it. If you're in an area that's subject to storms or bad weather, your internet may go up or down. That's not the Forge's problem, but it is a reality. It happened to one of my players, not this time, but the time before when we were playing something else. But so aside from the goof of the initiative cards, because this game doesn't do a standard initiative like a lot of games do, it's more similar to Savage Worlds, but still yet different. There you have initiative cards that come in the box set or the PDF, and they are labeled from 1 to 10. And when you drop into initiative rounds, you deal those cards out. Now, if your side sets up a sneak attack or an ambush, or they start the violence first, they resort to drawing swords or steel, then they get the choice. They can take whatever initiative card they want, and then the bad guys they get whatever's left over, or the opponents. So aside from that minor goof where, like I said, we couldn't figure out the initiative cards, and that's totally on me, and not knowing how that part of Foundry works. I have to research it more, because I'm going to tell you right now, I had a blast. I think the players had fun. They all said they did. They said they'd play it again. Dragonbane is everything I wanted D&D to be, only better. I'm not a 5th edition fan. I don't like the mechanics. They just don't sit well with me. This sat very well with me. What's nice is and a lot of games do this, and 5th edition does this as well. So I don't want to make negative light of 5th edition, because it's a good game. It's just not the game for me. Dragonbane does something that's really neat in that it gives the GM agency. And you may say, oh, every game gives a GM because the GM controls everything. If you're a fair GM and you play the game with the rules, I mean, you're running the game for the players, right? So the point of that is you set an objective, an obstacle in front of or for your players, and then you play to resolve how the players deal with that. And that's every role-playing game, and Dragonbane is no different. What I think Dragonbane did really well is it gave me a sense of I'm playing the game too. I'm not just narrating the game. I'm just not putting obstacles in front of you to make your life difficult in this game world. And even though I am, that's what I'm there to do. I felt like I had agency in the game as well. As you know, I wanted my bad guys to succeed. I wanted my objectives to go forward, and again, you can do this in other games. I just felt it was more empowering, and I felt powerful like the players do. There's this sense of feeling that players get when they achieve their goals. It's accomplishment. We all like to be good at what we do. We like to accomplish what we set out to do. If we say we're going to do XYZ, we want to do XYZ. And so I really felt that Dragonbane gave me that satisfaction as a GM for running this quick little adventure. And we made some mistakes. Mumfrey, one of my Patreons, as well as Meanie and Cosmic, were really great about pointing out some of the rules from the quick play and the rule book, the PDF or whatever. So thank you guys for helping out. David and CS Smith were phenomenal players, as always. We had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think the players enjoyed it. Spin it. Um, Sorry, my son was in here. Um, we had a really good time. Your bigger monsters, and I don't want to say any monster thing because I don't want to give away any plot lines for people that haven't played through the adventures that are in the rule book, and they are the adventures that are in the Foundry module as well. And it's really, first of all, I was really impressed. A lot of times when you get a module, you go from mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, and you can't jump around, or it's very difficult and makes a lot of headache for the GM. They tell you right off the get-go, start wherever you want. In fact, they go so far as to give you some cards, and each one of the cards has the 10 or 12 adventures that link to make an overall story. They give you cards and you're supposed to deal them out to the players, and then the players get to choose. They can look at them and go, oh, I think we can do this, or maybe this one will be easier, or a good start, or I like the sound of this, whatever it may be that sparks them to want to go. So they have agency, they have say in their destiny, so to speak, of what they're going to do. So, and then it's up to the GM to just run them through it and, move forward. Man, my hair is a mess. I apologize, guys. I just got off, literally just got off work. But I wanted to get this video out before the wife gets home and life goes into chaos. Um, so the players really felt like I think they were in control. Uh, Damage. This game is lethal. I mean, and everyone says, "Oh, there's ducks. How serious can it be?" This game is dead serious, guys. The monster that attacked the players, the big bad monster for the scene, charged up and hit um, our knight, which was he was playing a duck, hit the knight for a whopping uh, 20 points of damage in one hit. I mean, he just pounded the crap out of him. Now, granted, he had heavy armor and everything, and he could take the hit, but he sure felt it. And I think he only had a few hit points left. So, and that was in one hit. So, yeah, the game is no joke when they talk about the lethality of the game world. Another thing that the game does, and I feel it does really well, is NPCs and minor monsters. You basically treat them like player characters. They get to roll dice, they get to attack, they get to defend, they get to do whatever it is they need to do. Your big monsters, they don't roll to hit. They hit. They have a chart. Every monster has a chart that you roll on. And it may be a D6, a D8, a D10, whatever it is, depending on the severity of the creature, will have a bigger chart. The main bad, and again, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but the main bad guy had a D6. And you roll that D6 every time on his turn, and then you get to make an attack, and you do whatever it says. Now the players have one of two choices: they can take the hit, or they can try to parry and or dodge. The problem in this game, and it's not a problem, it's a good thing. The problem for the players is if they haven't acted yet in the initiative order and the bad guy attacks them and they decide to parry, great. They may take no damage, they may fail and take damage, but they've used their reaction, which is still their action. So if they choose to parry or dodge, they don't get an attack come up their turn. Now, there is one ability that allows you to do that and not lose your attack, and it's, I think it's only available to the warriors. Um, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. I don't know the rules 100%. And I think it's an ability that anybody can buy as long as they get it. But the warrior gets it. Warrior, from the way I read it, it sounded like a warrior ability, but I'm not dead sure on it. But normally, a normal player like your wizard is going to either sit there and take the hit, or he's going to try to dodge it. That's great. If he dodges it, he takes no damage, but he gives up his attack. So there's an amount of strategy. And the reason I think this is good is because if you're fighting, most, PC battles boil down to a really uber tough villain and the players, and you're going to have 3 to 5, maybe 6 players, and you're going to have one bad guy. So the one bad guy gets one, maybe 2 attacks and around, but then he's got to deal with 3 to 6 attacks from the players. So it's a war of attrition, and he's going to lose every time. So making him automatically hit, some would say, oh, that's not good, and you're trying to kill the players. But it puts a sense of stress on the players, a sense of urgency on the players to hurry up and do something. You can't just sit around with your thumb up your ass. You gotta make something happen, because this guy is going to cut through your party in no time. Wizards can't wear armor, or they can, but if they wear armor, they can't cast spells. So now they're hurting, now they can't cast spells. They're not good fighters, and they don't have a lot of hit points. So usually one, maybe 2 hits, they're down. So you want to keep your wizard and or your thief in the background, and you want your frontline fighters, your archers and whatever, your thieves, to be in there and doing what they do best. Speaking of thieves, another thing that I really liked is, unlike a lot of other games, your thief doesn't have to rely on necessarily being sneaky. The thief gets their backstab as long as somebody else is in melee with his target or her target. And I think that's phenomenal, because that's the way it should be. You can't focus on 2 different people. If you're fighting 2 different people, somebody's going to get hit on you while you're trying to defend the other one. And the thief excels at backstabbing. And I think thief should get a backstab every time he's fighting somebody, or if he acts first in a round, catches them flat-footed, whatever the case may be. So the mechanics are really good. I do like the fact that willpower, you can't cheese out on any of your attributes. They are all important because they provide the secondary abilities for you, and they provide, like, willpower. A fighter, what does a fighter need willpower for? I'm not a spellcaster, so screw willpower. No, kicking off your fighter abilities cost willpower. It is the currency in the game that you use to pull off your trick maneuvers or your special abilities. The wizard uses willpower to kick off his spells. Spells are treated like skills. It's awesome. I love it when games do stuff like this. It's a very simple mechanic in this game. You want to roll low. Ones are successes, 20 are critical successes, 20s are critical failures. It's called a dragon and a demon. A 1 is a dragon, that's awesome. A 20 is a demon, that's bad. If you get a critical hit on something, you roll a natural 1, you got 2 choices: double damage or roll normal damage and bypass armor. Which you may say, why would you ever, you always want to take the double damage. No, not so, because if you're fighting something that has really good armor or really good defenses, even double damage may not be enough to do enough damage to help the situation. So maybe you're only doing, a 1d10 of damage, and yeah, you may only roll a 1, but if you ain't got to worry about armor, that's damage that's definitely getting through. So the game is just, in my opinion, really laid out well. I like the way the mechanics work. There were some nuances that we got wrong because we're playing it, but the Foundry data set or module, I thought was really well done. The ability to right click on just about everything and get an explanation was awesome. The combat was really well, and the way they executed things worked out pretty well, as I know how to use Foundry. Like I said, the only myth that I had was the cards. I just didn't understand how the cards worked. And I got to figure it out, because I think we would like to run it again. I would like to run it again for the meanies. I had a lot of fun with it. I think Free Liga has put out an amazing game, and I'm really excited to see what comes next. I'm excited to see like a bestiary. I think we have enough adventure right now to play with. I would like to see a bestiary or splat books for each of. There's not really classes, but the careers. You don't have levels in this game. You get experience. It's pretty neat. As well as how experience works. When you use a skill, whether you roll a dragon or a bane, you put a tick mark next to that skill. And at the end of the session, you're able to roll. And if you roll over your skill, let's say, argument's sake, a good starting skill for a starting player is between 12 and 14, with 14 being on the higher end if you rolled really good stats. But let's just say, for argument's sake, you've got a 12 in demon lore and you want to advance demon lore. You roll a d20. If you get a 13 or better, that skill goes up by 1. And it goes that way until 18. So this is a diminishing reward because as you get higher in a skill, it's going to get harder to roll over that skill value. So it's going to be harder to increase your skill in the higher levels, 15, 16, 17. You can never go over 18. You always have a chance of failure. So 19 and 20 is always you don't bother with those. You can't be perfect. So they got to give you room for failure. And they do that with max skills being at an 18, but you got to roll less than an 18. You're pretty solid on your skill choices. So the abilities, I think, are well laid out. None of them seemed way overpowered for what they are. They made sense. We used the starting characters out of the book that come in the box set, and I think everybody liked their characters. C.S. Smith played Chris, played the elven female archer, and she was a badass. And he spent willpower. He had an ability called twin shots, where he could fire 2 arrows. Obviously you're thinking Legolas right now if you've seen Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he could knock 2 arrows and fire them, and he was so fast and so good, or she was, he could fire at different targets. And there was no complex, well, it's got to be within 20 feet of each other. The game is in meters. Everything's in meters. So, it has to be in within, 6 meters of each other. No, it's, you could fire at this guy over here and that guy over there because you were so good with a bow, you could shoot really fast. So I really liked the archer. I thought the David played the thief, halfling thief. She was a badass, although I'm not quite sure if he ever got to use his backstab. I don't remember if he did or he didn't. I think he did. Even though we played for 3 hours, it was a lot of rules look up and a lot of, questioning how the mechanics work, but we got through it. Foundry was a big help, I think. I think everybody enjoyed their experience. So if you're on the fence about Dragonbane, take it from Mr. Mean. It's a buy. If you've got some friends and they like D&D, if they like Pathfinder, give this one a try. You might, if you're looking for something new and you want something a little different, this is a good way to go. I've read through the adventure book in the box set. It's really well done. Lots of cool adventures. There's treasure for the players to get, as well as, leveling up and getting experience, increasing your skills. So it's very well done, very well laid out. They provide a nice heavy, it's some sort of heavy, I don't want to say laminated, but textured paper for a world map. And they also give you a double-sided piece of like terrain, generic terrain, like one side's rock and the other side's like grass. And it's got squares on it. And, you have a little battle map basically in there made out of the same kind of paper. And then if you went gonzo like I did, you got the big cloth map, which for the life of me, I can't find right now. I put it somewhere and I have no idea where I put it, but I know I have it. And the cloth map is beautiful. It is literally the same map that's in the box set. It's just blown up and on this heavy like canvas cloth. It's really nice. I'm in the midst of trying to buy a house, and so I'm definitely going to put it up on the wall. Maybe have it framed and put up on my wall because I really like it. I've got a number of pieces of art that I want to do that with. So anyway, I'm rambling on now. So as always, like and subscribe. If you want to help support the channel, use my affiliate link for DriveThruRPG. You can go there and buy Dragonbane, buy any other games you like. Use my code, my link in the doobly-doo down below. It really helps support the channel. I get a small kickback and it doesn't cost you anything extra. If you really want to support the channel, then you can do Patreon. It's $5 a month. I do random drawings every couple of months to give away some stuff. I also, Patreon members get first shot at any games I run. I try to run 1 or 2 games a week on Discord and or Foundry. So anyway, as always, like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace and hair grease. And always remember that Mr. Mean says be nice.